Respected elders, brothers and sisters, Jai Sai Ram. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Professor Dr. Vickneswaren Krishnan, who will be conducting this evening's Paduka Puja, followed by a short talk. Dr. Vic is our Region 3 Spiritual Coordinator. Dr. Vic holds 2 PhDs, one in e-commerce law from Cambridge University and the other in Vedantic philosophy from the Oxford Institute of Sanskrit Studies, Oxford University. While a practicing barrister and professor of law, he is the current Hindu chaplain for Cambridge University. Over the past 20 years, he has spoken of and conducted study circles on our beloved Swami's teachings in the UK, Malaysia, USA, Europe, Thailand, Singapore, India, Sri Lanka and Nepal. We welcome Dr. Vic. Jai Sai Ram.
Om Kartamena Praja Dosha Mayisam Bhavakattama Priyam Vasaye Me Kule Mataram Patmamalini Apaspachantu Sikdani Sikpida Vasame Grihe Vitadevim Mataram Shriyam Vasaye Me Kule Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhake Sharanye Triyambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Prajoti Avahayami. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Gananan Tva Ganapati Gum Havamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashunvannoti Visseda Sadhanam Prano Devi Saraswati Vaje Virvajini Vati Deenavamitrayavato Ganeshaya Namaha Saraswatyai Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirviknam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Omkaram Bindu Samyuktam Nityam Dhyayanti Yoginaha Kamadam Mokshadam Chaiva Omkaraya Namo Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurave Sarvalokanam Visudhe Bhavaroginaha Nidaye Sarva Vidyanam Sri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Chasakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहार धवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रामृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्मा अच्युत शङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देव्यै सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजात्यापहा ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात् ॐ शिरिडीवासाय विद्महे सच्चिदानन्दाय धीमहि तन्नो साई प्रचोदयात् ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात् हरिः ॐ. We will now recite the multi-faith prayers. Christianity prayer. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Islam prayer. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratul mustaqim. Siratul lazina anamta alayhim. Ghairil maghdubi alayhim waladhdallin. Ameen. Sikhism prayer. एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भव निर्वय अकाल मूर्त अजूनी सहभंग गुर प्रसाद जप आज सच जुगाद सच है भी सच नानक होसी भी सच. Buddhism prayer. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham sharanam gacchami. Dhammam sharanam gacchami. Sangham sharanam gacchami. Judaism prayer. Shama Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shama Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shama Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Zoroastrianism prayer. Hashem Vahu Vaishtamasti Ushta Asti Ushta Amai Yati Shai Vaishtaisham. Hashem Vahu Vaishtamasti Ushta Asti Ushta Amai Yati Shai Vaishtaisham. Hashem Vahu Vaishtamasti Ushta Asti Ushta Amai Yati Shai Vaishtaisham. Jainism prayer. Om Namo Hariyantanam, Om Namo Siddhanam, Om Namo Hariyanam, Om Namo Vajayanam, Namo Loye Sab Saunam, Eso Palchanamo Karo, Sarva Papa Pranasano, Mangalaya Cha Sarvesi, Paramam Pavai Mangalam, Om Namo Hariyantanam, Om Hari Om. Sadguru Janana Vindabhyam Namo Namaha. Om Sri Sathya Sai Ishvara Arpanamastu. Om Tat Sat. Swami always emphasizes on the unity of all religions. He says there is only one religion, religion of love. And he emphasizes that all paths lead to the same destination. All roads lead to the same destination. All rivers lead to the same ocean. Therefore, it doesn't matter in what name we refer to him. So long as it is infused with love, how we refer to him really does not matter because it will reach him. So let us start. If I can just give you a short briefing about what is going to take place so that you are clearly aware as the proceedings unfold themselves. So we're going to start with Ganesh Puja. The Kalasha has already been consecrated this morning when we did the Havan. And the water inside is charged as a result of all the mantras that have been going in there during the process of the Havan in the morning. Therefore, that will be the final thing that is offered to the feet of the Lord when we complete the Abhishekam process slightly later in the program. We will start with installing Ganapati again as the primordial force of the eradication of possible obscurances in life. Once we have managed to install Lord Ganapati and do a Ganesha Puja, then we will commence with the Abhishekam, and I will take you through the process of what you should be doing in your own homes with your own Padukas, with the list of things that have been given to you previously through your respective centers and so on. So let us start by installing Lord Ganesha. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Ganana Antva Ganapati Gummavamahe Kavim Kavinam Upamastravastamam Jeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspadanashtanmano Divisti Dasadanam Om Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Ratna Simhasaram Samarpayame Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Pada Yoga Bhatyam Samarpayame Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Hasta Yoga Akyam Samarpayame Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Ajamaniyam Samarpayame Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Smaranam Samarpayame Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Snananantaram Ajamaniyam Samarpayame Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Vastra Yajñopavita Samarpayame Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Abharanam Samarpayame Avarana Aksharam Samarpayame Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Gandham Samarpayame Om Gandhadvaram Dharadharisham Nityapushtam Garishine Emeshwariyam Sarvabhutanam Tamiho Bakhuye Shriyam Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Haritra Kunkumachurnam Samarpayami Om Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhake Saranye Triambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Aksharam Samarpayami Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Bhadam Samarpayami Om Sri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Thambulam Samarpayami ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। ओम नारिकेलखंड काश्मीर फलंधाम्बूलं समर्पयामि। ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। ओम धूपं समर्पयामि। ओम दशांगं कुकुलवेदं सुगंधं यमनोहरं माद्रय सर्वदेवानां सुगन्धधूपमाग्रापयामि। ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। ओम दीपं समर्पयामि। ओम साध्यं त्रिभक्ति संयुक्तं मन्दिराजोदितं मया गृहाणमङ्गलादीपं त्रैलोक्यतिविलापः मङ्गलदीपं दर्शयामि। ओम प्रत्यक्षदीपं सन्दर्शयामि। ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। ओम कर्पूराराति समर्पयामि। ओम कुबेराय वैश्रवणाय महाराजाय नमः। ओम कर्पूर ज्योतिः हरि ओम। ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। ओम ध्यान मंत्रं समर्पयामि। ओम ओम भद्रं कर्णे विष्णुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिद्विगत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः षष्ठभागं षष्ठनोभिः दशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो रुद्रश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूष्या विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्षो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम नमस्ते गणपतये त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं तत्त्वमसि त्वमेव केवलं तत्थासि त्वमेव केवलं हर्तासि त्वमेव केवलं कर्तासि त्वमेव सर्वं कल्पितं ब्रह्मासि त्वं साक्षात् आत्मासि नित्यं तदं वच्मि सत्यं वच्मि अवत्वं माम् अवभक्तारम् अवश्रोधारम् अवधातारम् अवधातारम् अवानुचानमवशिष्यम् अवपश्चातात् अवपुरस्तात् अवोदरातात् अवदक्षिणातात् अवचोद्वातात् अवोदरातात् सर्वतो मां पाहि पाहि समन्तात्। त्वं वाङ्मयस्त्वं चिन्मयः त्वं आनन्दमयस्त्वं ब्रह्ममयः त्वं सच्चिदानन्दाद्वितीयोऽसि त्वं प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वं ज्ञानमयो विज्ञानमयोऽसि सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तो जायते सर्वं जगदिदं त्वत्तस्तिष्ठति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि लयमेष्यति सर्वं जगदिदं त्वयि प्रज्ञेति त्वं भूमिरापो नलो निलो नभः त्वं चत्वारि वाक्पदानि त्वं गुणत्रयातीतः त्वं अवस्थात्रयातीतः त्वं देहत्रयातीतः त्वं कालत्रयातीतः त्वं मूलाधारस्थितोऽसि नित्यं त्वं शक्तित्रयात्मकः त्वां योगिनो ध्यायन्ति नित्यं त्वं ब्रह्मास्त्वं विष्णुस्त्वं रुद्रस्त्वं इन्द्रस्त्वं अग्निस्त्वं वायुस्त्वं सूर्यस्त्वं चन्द्रमास्त्वं ब्रह्मभूर्भुवत्सुवरों गणादीं पूर्वमुच्चार्य वर्णादीं तदनन्तरम् अनुस्वारः परतरः अद्येन्दुलसितं तारेण रुद्धम् एतत्तव मनुष्वरूपं ककारपूर्वरूपम् अकारो मध्यमरूपम् अनुस्वारश्चान्त्यरूपं बिन्दुरुत्तररूपं नादसन्धानं सगुंहिता सन्धिः सैषा गणेश विद्या कनक ऋषिः निश्चित गायत्री छन्दः गणपतिर्देवता। ओम गं गणपतये नमः। एकदन्ताय विद्महे वक्रतुण्डाय धीमहि तन्नो दन्ति प्रचोदयात्। एकदन्तं चतुर्हस्तं पाशमङ्कुशधारिणं हृदं च वरदं हस्तेर्विप्राणं मूषकध्वजं रक्तं लम्बोदरं शूर्पकर्णकं रक्तवाससं रक्तगन्धानुलिप्ताङ्गं रक्तपुष्पैः सुपूजितं भक्तानुकम्पिनं देवं जगत्कारणमच्युतम् आविर्भूतं च षष्ट्यादौ प्रकृतेः पुरुषात् परम् एवं ध्यायति यो नित्यं स योगी योगिनां वरः। नमो भ्रातपतये नमो गणपतये नमः प्रमदपतये नमस्तेऽस्तु लम्बोदराय एकदन्ताय विघ्ननाशिने शिवसुताय श्रीवरदमूर्तये नमो नमः। ओम यं दत्त्वा ओम गां सुमुखाय नमः। ओम गं एकदन्ताय नमः। ओम गं कपिलाय नमः। ओम गं गजकर्णकाय नमः। ओम गं लंबोदराय नमः। ओम गं विकटाय नमः। ओम गं विघ्नराजाय नमः। ओम गं विनायकाय नमः। ओम गं गणेशाय नमः। ओम गं धूम्रकेतवे नमः। ओम गं गणाध्यक्षाय नमः। ओम गं Balachandraya Namaha Om Gam Surpakannaya Namaha Om Gam Herambaya Namaha Om Gam Skandapurvajaya Namaha Om Gam Vigneshwaraya Namaha Om Nava Vidha Bakthi Pushpanjalim Samarpayami Om Shri Mahaganapatiye Namaha Om Shubhamurtam Namo Namaha Om.
Pahi Gajanana Dinavana
Pahi Gajanana Dinavana
Pahi Gajanana Dinavana
Pahi Gajanana Dinavana
Silduravadana Shritajana Palana
Sinduravadana Sitajana Padana
Sinduravadana Shritajana Palana
Sinduravadana Sitajana Padana
Pahi Gajanana Dinavana
Pahi Gajanana Dinavana
Ambikatanaya Amaradishwara
Ambikatanaya Amaradishwara
Ambikatanaya Amaradishwara
Ambikatanaya Amaradishwara
Aganita Gunagananandadaya
Aganita Gunagananandadayaka
Aganita Gunagananandadayaka
Aganita Gunagananandadayaka
Pahi Gajanana Dinavana
Pahi Gajanana Dinavana
Silsuravadana Shritajana Palana
Sinduravadana Sitajana Padana
Pahi Gajanana Dinavana
Pahi Gajanana Dinavana
Ambikatanaya Amaradishwara
Ambikatanaya Amaradishwara
Akanita Gunagananandadaya
Aganita Gunagananandadayaka
Akanita Gunagananandadayaka
Aganita Gunagananandadayaka
Pahi Gajanana Dinavana.
Smaranam. That concludes the Ganapati installation, the Ganapati Puja. Now we will move on to the Abhishekam. So if you have your padukas ready in front of you, so you should have with you milk, yogurt, or curd, panchamritam, it's a mixture of 5 fruits, honey, oranges cut so that you can squeeze them on the paduka, tender coconut water, sandalwood paste, rose water, and vibhuti. I'm going to just start with the healthy water, turmeric water. As you are bathing the feet, you should imagine the Lord is standing in front of you. And you should be saying, Om Sri Sathya Sai Namaha. Once you have done that, you can wash away the water. And you start firstly with milk. Right? You offer milk. What is the significance of offering milk? Or if you go to mandirs and you see them bathing the gods with milk, or why do they do that? What is the significance of the milk? Milk comes from cow. The cow is the natural creation of God. The cow only eats grass. And what comes from the cow is pure and natural. Therefore, just as this is a natural product of the cow, which is white, and the consistency is also very good, and it flows. So similarly, when the milk is poured over a vigraha or an idol or the paduka, you will see that it captures every nook and cranny of whichever idol or vigraha or the padukas on which you pour the milk. In the same way, our love for God, right, the significance of the milk is it should be a natural thing that comes out, i.e. the love should be pure and as white as the milk of the cow, and it should flow constantly and consistently in the same way as the milk. So as it is being poured on the idol or as it is being poured on the paduka, that should be the reflection in your mind. So as we pour this and we recite the mantra Om Sri Sathya Sai Namaha, imagine that you are actually pouring your love at the feet of the Lord. Om Sri Sathya Sai Namaha. 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 Once you've done that, you show Deepa. Om Sri Sathya Sai Namaha. Then you take some clean water and you wash remnants of the milk so that the paduka is now prepared for the next item, which is yogurt or curd or dahi, right? Now, what is the significance of offering dahi to an idol, a murti, a vigraha, or to the padukas? Yogurt is another product that comes from milk, right? And yogurt is something that when consumed cools not only your body, but it is a coolant for the mind. And yogurt is to fertilize the right mindset so that the ground, the fertile ground, can then be used to plant the seeds of love, seeds of devotion or bhakti, right? So yogurt represents something that is given to yourself to cool your mind and to prepare your mind for the worship and for the constant thought of Lord. Om Sri Sathya Sai Ishwaraya Namaha. 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 Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satya Devaya Dhimahi Tannah Sarva Prachodayat. Hari Om. Again, once you have shown your Deepa, please wash the Padukas so that they are prepared for the next. The next item we want to offer is the next item we want to offer is the Panchamritam. Panch is 5, Amrita is the result of blending 5 different fruits. The Panchamritam represents, when offered to the Lord, a sign of annihilation of the Pancha Doshas, or the 5 cardinal sins, right? So offering of the Panchamritam represents you seeking God's assistance, God's blessings, God's compassion in eradicating the 5 cardinal sins. It's called Pancha Doshas, right? Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada. But also, when you mix all the 5 fruits together, they are different size, different shape, different color, different taste. But when they're all blended together with a single focus of offering them to the Lord, they become constant and they become consistent in their character. So similarly, we are all different, but when we get together to offer something to the Lord, we must become as constant and as consistent as these different varieties of fruits, but blended together as one. So, Om Sri Sathya Sai Ishwaraya Namaha. 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 Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satya Devaya Dhimahi Tannah Sarva Prachodayat. Om. Now, like the other items, the Panchamrit, once it's touched your murti or the padukas, it should be put back into a container and consumed as prasad. It is most potent. All the energy has been infused in the offering, and when you consume it, it is Maha Prasadam. So do keep it and partake with the family at a later stage. Now, please wash the paduka in order for it to be prepared for the next offering. Sri Sathya Sai Ishwaraya Namaha. Om 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 Sri Sathya Sai Ishwaraya Namaha. Next item is honey. Honey represents, if you look at the source of honey, it comes from the bees. And the bees make a sound, And if you, this was actually researched by scientists in the Kansas deserts, where they went to look for honey. They were doing this research on bees, and they found that the bees were humming together to the sound of the word Hreem. Hreem is a Bijakshara mantra for Mahalakshmi. That is why honey is often associated in Abhishekam dedicated to Goddess Mahalakshmi. Hreem, right? Om Hreem Mahalakshmi Namaha. So similarly, honey comes from bees, right? If you look at honey, when you offer the honey to the Lord or on any idol or vigraha or murti, the honey goes and captures the entire shape or form, and its character is one of translucency. You can actually see it's so transparent and sweet. Likewise, we should become the honey when offered to Bhagavan. We become transparent, translucent, sweet, and the offering is infused with bhakti. So let us offer the honey to the Padukas whilst chanting Om Sri Sathya Sai Ishwaraya Namaha. 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 Om Sai Ishwaraya Vimahe Satya Devaya Dhimahi Anna Sarva Prachodayate. Om. Again, the container where you put the Panchamrit, you can also put the honey in the Panchamrit, because again, it's good prasad. Then wash the Padukas and prepare them for the next item of offering. Get some water. Next, offering of the juice of a fruit, orange or a lemon. You see, the orange as a whole piece cannot be consumed like that. In order for the orange to be consumed, it must be cut into half, or the juice has to be squeezed out completely, and then this just goes to the bin. Once you squeeze that, or you've extracted the fruit within. Now, when you squeeze the juice on the padukas, or when you squeeze the juice of the orange on the murti or on the idol or the vigraha, it is telling you that your life should be lived in a spirit of sacrifice, just like you squeeze all the goodness out of the orange and then leave the, the body of the orange becomes useless and the body is then discarded. And having extracted all the essence of the wonderful sweetness of that fruit, it's telling us, whenever we see this being done in temples or in mandir or wherever, the lesson is you must live your life in the same way and squeeze out all the goodness, all your good qualities, all your essence must be squeezed out for the benefit of others, for all the service of others. Then when your body goes on its own, everything good has been taken. Because end of the day, the body is discarded, but the soul continues. So this we are doing for purification of self, self-purification. Om Sri Sathya Sai Iswaraya Namaha. 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 Om Sai Iswaraya Vidmahe Satya Devaya Dhimani Tannah Sarva Prachodayat. Hri Om. Once you've done that, again, wash the padukas for the next lineage of offering. Next is the tender coconut water. The tender coconut water represents longevity or the sustenance of life. And nothing is more pure and natural than the tender coconut water. Again, it is a natural product. You will see that everything that is offered to God is a natural creation that is created by the Creator, and therefore when you offer it back to the Lord, you are going back to the natural self of the Creator, which is nature itself. So, young or tender coconut water represents, right, lineage or ayuhu. So if you want, it also represents that when it's poured over it gives good health, right? So it's arogya. It gives you arogya. Therefore, Om Sri Sathya Sai Ishwaraya Namaha. 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 Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satya Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayate. Om Sri Sathya Sai Ishwaraya Namaha. 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 And process of cleansing the padukas for the next offering. Next, we want to offer some vibhuti on the padukas. And as you offer the vibhuti, you should be reciting the Triambaka mantra. And I'll explain to you what is the significance of reciting the Triambaka mantra when offering vibhuti, or even when you are anointing yourself with vibhuti, right? Om Triambakam Vajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarumika Bandhanat Mrityormukshiyamamrataate. Om Triambakam Vajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarumika Bandhanat Mrityormukshiyamamrataate. Om Triambakam Vajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarumika Bandhanat Mrityormukshiyamamrataate. Om Hrim Namah Shivaya Shivaya Namo Namaha. Om Sri Sathya Sai Shivaya Namaha. Once you've offered this, and show Arathi to it. Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satya Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayate. Om. Now, Basman represents equanimity when death occurs. When the appointed time of death comes, everybody is reduced to the same consequence. There is no difference in what happens to you if you are cremated or if you are buried. Your end result is this. So, the practice of putting vibhuti or offering vibhuti is to remind us that life on the earth is temporary, and therefore what is going to become of us when we die is mere dust. Therefore, live your life in the service of others, live your life in the loving of others. And Swami says, love all, serve all. Also, you recite the Triambakam mantra, right? Triambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam urvaruiva bandhanat mrityor mukshiyam amradaat. It is called a Maha Mrityunjaya mantra. If there is a mantra that you want to say in order for you to eradicate the possibility of a rebirth, Punarjanmaha, then this is the mantra, and it is often recited in the worship of Lord Shiva, right? Specifically on, the Pradosha days in the month, or specifically in the worship of, Shivaratri, which comes every month, and you have the Mahashivaratri, which comes in February, March. Triambakam Yajamahe, one who's got the three eyes, that is Lord Shiva. Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam, who smells of fragrance that is beyond the three worlds. Urvaruiva Bandhanar, just like the cucumber hangs on a reef, temporal in its character. Uruvarumiva Vandanat Mrityor Mukshiyamamrudat Om Krim Namah Shivaya. That means just like the cucumber hangs on the reed and it's precarious enough awaiting its time of death. Release me when that time of death comes from the possibility of rebirth. Uruvarumiva Vandanat Mrityor Mukshiyamamrudat. So give me moksha at the time of Mrityu. Hence it's Mahamrityunjaya mantra. Hence it is offered, or the mantra is recited when vibhuti is offered in temples, in mandirs, and also when you do this Abhishek. Now, with the vibhuti, you don't just wash it off, right? The vibhuti is also used to polish your padukas, right? And as you are polishing, you should say, right, polish me in the same way that my inner spirituality comes out bright and shiny, just like your padukas, so that I can offer it, or I have become fit to offer it at your lotus feet. You will see when I pour the water over the padukas now, how much more bright and tejas it has become as a result of, cleaning it or wiping it with the vibhuti. So here we are. Om Sri Sathya Sai Ishwaraya Namaha. 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 The final thing that we are going to offer is sandalwood. So if you've got the paste or if you've got the powder, just put it in the container and mix some water so that it becomes a nice consistent paste. Sandalwood is used because, one, the character of the tree, and secondly, the value of the fragrance. So in order for you to recognize the value of this life and to enfragrance it with everything beautiful, with everything prosperous, with everything wealthy, it's called the progeny of life. Then you offer it. Om Sri Sathya Sai Ishwaraya Namaha. 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 Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satya Devaya Dhimahi Tanna Sarva Prachodayat. Harihi Om, Harihi Om. Now, the next stage is, now the padukas are covered with Sugandham, Gandha. Right. Therefore, it is prepared to receive the water of the Kalasha, which has been consecrated and charged by virtue of the Havanic mantras done this morning. So I'm going to take that and pour it on this. Now, since you don't have the kalasha, you can wait. Once I've finished that, then we will do the final oblations with rose water, and I'll explain the significance of the rose water before we prepare the padukas ready for the offering of the 108 names, or what we call the paduka pushpanjali. So as the water is poured on the padukas, those of you who know the first anuaka of the Sri Rudram, please join me in saying that. Harihi Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya. Om Namaste Rudramanyava Utotaishave Namaha. Namaste Astu Dhanvane Bahubhyam Utate Namaha. Yata Isho Shivatama Shivam Babuvate Tanuho. Shivasarabhyaya Tavatayano Rudramudaya. Yate Rudra Shiva Tanura Gora Papakashini. Tayanastanu Vashantamaya Girishanta Vitakashihi. Yamishum girishanta haste vivarshastave Shivam giritratham kurumahi gumsi Purusham jagate Shive navachasat Vagirisat chavadamasi Yadanat sarvamishjagada yakshmagum sumana asate Atyavochadati vatha pratamo devyo vishate Ahiguscha sarva jambayan sarva astayatu dhanyaha Asau yastamro aruna uta babhrushu mangalaha Ye chemagum rudra abhito dikshusmita sahasrajo vaishagum eda imahe asavyo vasatpati lagrivo vilohitaha upainam gopanam adrishanna drishannudaharyaha sadrishto. Now this has been fully empowered by the water from the kalash, and finally you will take the rose water to wash it to complete, or the rose water is the culmination of your Abhishekam. It is the last item that is usually offered in mandirs and places. Now the rose water represents Vamsavriddhi or longevity. It is asking for a good lineage or a good parampara, right? A parampara that is endowed with the strength of progeny and life's givings. So, Om Sri Sathya Sai Ishwaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sathya Sai Ishwaraya Namaha. Om Sri Sathya Sai Ishwaraya Namaha. Om Sai Ishwaraya Vidmahe Satya Devaya Dhimahi Tannah Sarva Prachodayat. Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Sai Ishwararpanamastu. Now your paduka is fit for the offering of the pushpanjali. So you should wipe it dry or dab it dry. Then what you should do is you should offer the Chandan and Kumkum at 3 different parts, right? The tip of the dividing pillar, and one on the middle of both. Most padukas will have Changa and Chakra, right? So you put that on the Changa and Chakra, and at the base you will have a lotus usually, and one on the base of the lotus, right? The paduka is also, right, a representation of the 3 murtis, where at the bottom you have Brahma, the middle you have Vishnu, and at the top you have Rudra or Shiva. So it's a representation of 3 murtis. Hence, the Chandan and the Kumkum in 3 different places. Chandan represents Surya, and Kumkum represents the moon or Chandra, right? As you see, or as you know, in the in the Purusha Shuktam, if you see the wordings of the Purusha Shuktam, right, there is one phrase that comes, right? Chandrama manaso jataha chaksho suryo ajayataha, right? That is telling you the eyes represent the sun and the mind represents the moon. In the same way, the eyes and the sun is represented by Shiva, and the moon and the mind is represented by Shakti. So once you put the Chandan, on top of that, put the Kumkum. As I said, once you put both, then you have actually created the presence of Shiva Shakti on the Paduka. So this is how it should be looking when it's done. And place it back on the tray so that we can then offer the Pushpanjali to it. And then we'll move this tray away. Now, the Paduka is fit for offering. Let me see one more button. Short one. Just before we begin the proceedings of the Paduka Archana, I'm just going to go get the prasad. We'll have a bhajan, one bhajan whilst we are waiting.
Partishvara Sai Baba, ab aao Sai Nandalala.
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 Jagadisha Kripa Sagara,
Jagadisha Kripa Sagara,
Jagadisha Kripa Sagara,
Jagadisha Sagara
Paramesha Daya Sagara
Paramesha Daya Sagara
Paramesha Daya Sagara
Paramesha Daya Sagara
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Bhaktishwara Sai Baba Ab Aao Sai Nandalala
Bhaktishwara Sai Baba Ab Aao Sai Nandalaya
Jagadisha Kripa Sagara
Jagadisha Kripa Sagara
Paramesha Daya Sagara
Paramesha Daya Sagara
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Jai Jai Sai Ram Bolo Jai Jai Sai Ram
Bhaktishwara Sai Baba Ab Aao Sai Nandalala
Om Gangam Kulavem Nandam Jaya Sarvadevanam Nandasumakravayame Maham Jatyam Javatyam Yaktam Manjaratam Mayagam Garim Dekoptigram Garim Darshayame Maham Tekchadim Darshayame Vam Veraya Vai Shravanaya Maharajaya Namaha Vam Katpura Radi Samatmayame Katpura Jyoti Harivam Sarishwaraya Smahe Satya Devaya Dhimahe Dhanna Sarva Prachodayat Hari Om Hari Om Om. Now if you have your flowers ready, or if you don't have enough flowers, you can also use the akshada, which is the yellow rice. You can also use that if you don't have enough flowers, right? So offer each name after I say each one of the 108 names, so after each name, we'll offer a petal. So at the end of 108 names, we would have offered 108 petals. Each offering, you can make a sankalpa. A sankalpa is an undertaking on your part to engage in an act for either a directed result or a non-directed result, either for yourself or for Loka Kalyan, as we usually do. So I'm going to start with the Dhyana mantra, and then I'll start with the first one. When you see just the offering to the lotus feet, please follow suit. Vande Shambhum Umapatim Suragurum, Vande Jagat Karanam, Vande Palakabhusha Vargadaram, Vande Pashunam Patim, Vande Surya Sashanka Vandinayanam, Vande Mukunda Priyam, Vande Bhakta Janakshadaya Varadam, Vande Sai Shankaram, Om Sri Sathya Sai Iswaraya, Pada Puja Archana. Om Sri Sai Padam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Punya Padam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Pavana Padam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Sharanam Sharanam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Papanashanam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Mangalakaranam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Dukkhaharanam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Dukkashamanam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Pavabhayaharanam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Moksha Pradhanam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Rakshakaranam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Sakshatkaram Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Shankataharanam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Samsayaharanam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Mokshadayakam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Baba Padam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Sathya Swarupam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Dharmavardhanam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Prema Swarupam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Premakaram Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Shantidayakam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Abhaya Pradhanam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Premavataram Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Sarva Shaktim Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Maheshwara Surupam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Pavana Rupam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Abhaya Pradayakam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Shakti Pradayakam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Shakti Pradhanam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Anandadayakam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Ashita Vatsalam Sai Padam. Om Sri Sai Lokavaritam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Lokanatham Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Deenabhushanam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Bhakti Pradhanam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Mukti Pradhanam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Bhakti Vayaharam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Nyana Swarupam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Sundara Rupam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Kalapradhanam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Kalatitam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Siddharupam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Sarvagunatmakam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Abanivaranam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Artiharanam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Shantamurtim Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Sulabha Prasannam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Sarojaramyam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Sajjana Priyam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Durita Nivaranam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Mokshadhayakam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Punyadarshanam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Mohanadrishyam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Krodasmaranam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Anandarupam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Paramanandarupam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Brahmanandarupam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Shokavinashakam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Kopavinashakam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Premavaridham Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Devarupam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Devi Rupam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Shantaswarupam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Nayana Manoharam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Kirti Pradhanam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Pratha Smaranam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Pradhatrishyam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Karma Nivaranam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Dharma Samrakshitham Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Daritrya Shamanam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Nayana Piyusham Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Atti Nivaranam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Anathanatham Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Kalusha Vidurakam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Karunyakaranam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Komagadrishyam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Kamaniyadrishyam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Swami Padam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sarva Padam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Shubhadrishyam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Punyapalitam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Phalapradanam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Sakshatkaram Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Shamala Komala Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Kamitaparitam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Aganita Gunakaram Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Anupavarasakaram Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Kumkumashobitam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Shankatamadhanam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Mangalarupam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Mangalakaranam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Sarojavarnam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Varijashovitam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Allapadam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Ishwarapadam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Zoroastrapadam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Yeshupadam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Buddhapadam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Nanakapadam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Guruvin Padam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Avishtabradayakam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Shashvata Saukyam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Pushpapadam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Kamaniyashugamam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Kalimalavanjanam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Kali-Yuga Vandhanam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Patti Purisham Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Shashvata Saukhyanandam Sai Padam. Om Shri Sai Sathya Swarupam Sai Padam. Om Shri Bhagavan Sathya Sai Baba Sai Padam. Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Sai Ishwaratmanamastu. Om Yogi Vasamayuktam Nagavalli Dhrayattam Vatpurna Surna Samyuktam Palavargathambulam Samarpayami. Jangiri samarpayami. Om Pranaya Swaha. Om Apanaya Swaha. Om Udanaya Swaha. Om Samanaya Swaha. Om Dhyanaya Swaha. Om Brahmane Swaha. Om Savitorvarenyam Vargo Devasya Devahe Dio Yona Prachodaya Devo Mapo Yote Praso Amadam Brahma Gurtu Vatsuvaro Om Sri Sathya Sai Ishvara Maha Naivedyam Nivedayami Nivedyanandaram Achamaniyam Samarpayami Om Yobam Pushpam Veda Pushpavan Prajavan Vashuman Bhavati Chandramava Apam Pushpam Pushpavan Prajavan Vasuman Bhavati Ya evam Vedha Yobham Ayatanam Vedha Ayatanavan Bhavati Om Sri Sathya Sai Ishwaraya Namo Namaha Om Sayamkalaneram Paduka Puja Samarpayami Om. So the Paduka Pushpanjali is now complete. I am now going to recite the four Vedas, or the abbreviation of each of the four Vedas, Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharvana, which is equivalent. The Vedas can be summed up in 4 lines, which is what I'm doing now, or it can be summed up in a single line, just like a Mula Mantra and a Gayatri Mantra, right? So the 4 Vedas is Aham Brahmasmi, one single line, Tattvamasi, single line, Prajnanam Brahmam, right? And Veda Purusha, 4 lines representing each Veda. Now I'm going to say the 4 lines for each of the 4 Vedas. Harihi Om Agnimele Purohidam Yajnascha Deva Pritvijo Odhadaram Ratnadadavam Harihi Om Vishet Bhodvedyo Bhayavastho Bhayavasta Devo Vatsa Vidat Praptana Sheshtamana Yaganmane Harihi Om Atnahaya Vidaye Gnano Pyadadahe Yoda Sachivargashe Harihi Om Shanno Devi Vishwaya Bhavavudu Vidaye Sayyora Vishwavantunaha Harihi Om Shasri Chaturveda Mantra Javatparayanam Samaptam Sathya Sai Ishwaraya Namo Namaha Samarpayami Om. When you worship the Lord, which is more important? Your belief in God or your faith in God? Because whether you believe or not, it's no indication of the depth of faith. And faith is void or devoid of belief. Therefore, if you are believing, then you have to look at your faith. But if you have complete faith, then you don't have to believe, because the faith will work. Right? Do not question how the Lord will respond. He is Avat Pandava, Anada Rakshaka. And he is known as Bhakta Vatsala, the one who saves the Bhakta at the right and appropriate time. And you've seen all the Puranic fables, all the mythological references, right? Whether it is, one lineage of the Dashavataram or another lineage of the Dashavataram, that divine assurance has been given. Not just when the time, Dharma Samsthapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. Not only when unrighteousness overwhelms, but when your life is in a state of imbalance. If you surrender and have faith in me, then Shraddha, See, here is where you need to look at the Vahanas. All our God forms have Vahanas. So if you take Lord Vishnu or Narayana, his Vahana is the Garuda, right? And if you look at the Garuda, it's got 2 huge wings, right? And a sharp beak, very sharp beak. So if you change this iconographically, right, the 2 wings represent Shraddha, which is faith, and the other one is Bhakti or devotion. And the sharp beak is intelligence or wisdom. Therefore, in order to carry Lord, as he rides the Garuda, but in order to carry the Lord within you, your 2 wings and your sharp intelligence must be constant, right? That means your faith and devotion must go hand in hand, and that must be guided or directed by the intelligence. And the intelligence is dictating to your sense of discrimination or viveka, knowing the difference between this and that, right and wrong, good or bad, positive and negative. That is viveka, or sense of discrimination. As I said, it is not yours. It is not your position to question how and when the Lord will respond. He knows exactly when to respond. If you want to know more, you go and read up in the Vishnu Purana something called Gajendra Moksha. You know the story, or you may have seen the picture of the elephant being bitten by the crocodile, and then on top you can see Narayana coming, and on Garuda, and saving the elephant. But he let it go for a while before he finally saves you, right? All the trials and all the tribulations, all the doubts, all the sense of imbalance you may have, is to make you a far more better product than what you are right now, so that you become fit for the final offering when your life ends. Right? So there is no more punarjanmaha for you. Right? Like Shankara said, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Puranapi Janani, Jatare Shayanam, Iha Samsare, Bahudustare, Kripaya Pare, Pahi Murare. Right? He said, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam. Again birth, again death. Punarapi Janani, Jatare Shayanam. You know, this life already began whilst you're in your mother's womb. Iha Samsare, Bahudustare. Therefore, this life is fraught with difficulties and questions. So how do you get through it? Kripaya pare pahi murare. Surrender to the Lord in order to receive His grace, His compassion, His daya, His kripa. Right. So I'm going to just tell you a little story before I end, just to tell you that never lose hope, right? And always enhance and fortify your faith, because that is what will give you the panacea for all the ailments in your life, right? Nothing else. Do not seek it outside. Go within and surrender to. There was a doctor who was, and this is a real life story, and this was recorded in the American Institute of Physicians, one of the stories some years back. And I have said it in some centers in my speeches, but I thought it's worthwhile repeating it on this day, the Maha Samadhi day, when Swami attained the equanimity from the beginning, right? Samadhi. Anyway, so the doctor was scheduled to go and give a talk in Washington. This is sometime in December time, so a winter season, So he booked the flight and everything was all arranged. And there was a question of whether, the flights will take off or not. But they said, well, so far everything is good. There is no sign of any delays or whatsoever. So you're good to go, doctor. And he went to the airport, and at the airport, he was fine. He checked in everything, went into the plane, got embarked, and then the flight took off. 2 hours into the flight, it's meant to be a 5-hour flight. Right? 2 hours into the flight, the captain said that owing to bad weather, they'd have to land at the next available airport in order to wait for the weather to get better. So the plane comes down at another airport. And because the weather is so bad, the airport has said they have grounded all flights. No flight is taking off anywhere. It will be wait till we get to see the weather turning better, and then we will decide to run the flights. Now, obviously, the doctor had to be at a conference the next day. So he inquired how he could get to Washington from that place. And it was about a 2.5, 3 hour drive. So they said, well, the flights can't go, but the roads, despite the rain and the bad weather, the roads are still, operating as normal. So you might want to rent a car and, make your way to Washington. It'll be 2.5 to 3 hours drive. So he went to the car rental place. He rented a car, and obviously he called the Washington people who were expecting him to say what was happening, and he says he's driving there and he'll be constantly in touch, right? So he was driving, and after about an hour and a half, the weather was quite bad, and the sat nav was beginning to play up. And at some point, instead of turning left, he turned right. And he went to a bridge. And that bridge was shut because the water had risen as a result of continuous rain. And he was diverted by the police there to another lone road. And he drove there for about another hour or so until he saw light at some distance. And he thought to himself, at least there is some light. Now his phone battery had also died, so he couldn't call for help. So he thought, at least there is some sign of life in that place. I see light. So let me go there and talk to those people to see if I can use their phone and get me some help to further my journey from this point on. So what he did, when he parked and he went and knocked on the door, right? An elderly lady opened the door and she saw this man standing there, total stranger. She was very pleasant. She welcomed him and she made him a hot drink. And then he was telling her, look, I'm meant to be going to present this thing on, a possible or new treatment that I have come up with, as a cardiovascular thing. It's completely new, and I'm supposed to present this. And this has happened. My flight gets landed, and then I couldn't get another flight. I had to take the car. I went in the wrong way. That way, the bridge was closed, and I had to take another way. And somehow I landed here. If I can use your phone to contact the people in order to make alternative arrangements for me to carry on my journey, I'd like to do so if you allow me to do it. The lady said, of course, please, so he used the phone and he made, the call, and they said they will send a chopper out for him when the weather gets a bit better, but not to worry, they will get him out by the morning and he will be in Washington by 2 p.m. the next day for his scheduled speech at 4 p.m. So everything was done, but there was a problem. He had to stay overnight somewhere because the transportation was going to come a few hours later, possibly in the morning. So he asked the lady if he could just sleep on the couch until the help arrives, and she said yes, of course. And then they got to talking. She sat there with a cup of tea, having made him one, and they were talking. And he asked, do you live here alone, ma'am? Or, who is here with you? She says, no, my husband is with me, but he is very unwell, I've taken him to go and see so many doctors, so many places, but everybody is saying that there's nothing can be done, that there is no treatment for his condition. And, we will have to wait until the, inevitable happens. So he then said, okay, so can I see your husband? I mean, what is wrong with him? And then, you shouldn't be surprised that what that man was suffering was exactly the disease for which this doctor had researched and had come up with a new novel treatment, which is why he was going to Washington to present it to the, all Washington medics. So he found, it's a coincidence. I mean, all of those things happening to bring him to that house. Then he said, how come you haven't come to, New York, where my clinic is? So, we haven't heard of you or nothing, and nobody in this area knows. I've been to here, and the closest, biggest place I've been to is Pennsylvania Hospital, and, they couldn't do anything. But she said, I have not given up any hope because my faith in the Lord is extremely cemented. So every day I say to him, I know you are waiting for the right time to send someone. I will wait. And if that waiting comes to an end, let that be your will too. And every day I used to pray and look how you have come to my house, completely unannounced, completely unplanned, and you are the very person who can cure this. So the next day, he made arrangements to take this man and his wife also to Washington, got them admitted in a hospital, and tried that treatment and cured that man. Right? So the point of the story is, right? The lesson here is, do not question when and how the Lord chooses to respond to your call. He will, even though it is elongated. In the morning, I told you the story of Draupadi in the court of Duryodhana, right? She was calling, and yet he did not let her down. I said to you, he is Bhakta Vatsala. He will not let you down. Bhakta Vatsala means one who saves the Bhaktas. The sari grew and grew, and he came in the end and he saved her. Likewise, don't question how the Lord will save you. When it is time for him to do something, he will do that something. Don't question through whom, at what time, at which hour. All of that is not for you to question. Do not analyze, lest you want to become paralyzed. Analysis leads to paralysis. So, with that in mind, let us now say the Shama Prarthana, and then we will move on to the Arati. Om Jai Jagadisha Hari. Hari Om. Yadakshara pada prashtham matra hinam tu yat bhavet tat sarvam shamyatha devam narayana namostute. Visarga bindu matrani pada padaksharaani cha yunyani cha viriktani shamasvasa ishvaraha aparani sahasyase kriyantam dharnisam maya daso yamrittima mritva Vaishwaram anyada sharanam nasti tvameva sharanam mamaha tasmat karunya bhave naraksha saishwaraha hari om tat sat sri saishwara arpanamastu om swasti prajabhyam paribhayantam nyayena makkena mahi mahishago brahmanebhyo somastu nityam samasta lokha sukino bhavantu lokha samasta sukino bhavantu samasta lokha sukino bhavantu Om Jai Jagadisha Hare Swami Sathya Sai Hare Bhakta Jano Samrakshaka Bhakta Jano Samrakshaka Pati Maheshwara Om Jai Jagadisha Hare Shashivadana Shri Kara Sarva Pranapate Swami Sarva Pranapate Ashrita Kalpaladika Ashrita Kalpaladika Abhat Pandava Om Jai Jagadisha Hare Mata Pita Guru Deva Mumariya Gayudeve Swami Mariyam Gayudeve Nada Brahma Jagannatha Nada Brahma Jagannatha Nagendra Shayana Om Jai Jagadisha Hare Omkara Rupa Jai Shri Sai Mahadeva Sathya Sai Mahadeva Mangala Arati Anduko Mangala Arati Anduko Mangala Giridhari Om Jai Jagadisha Hare Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana 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 Om Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Jai Satguru Deva Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana 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 Om Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Jai Satguru Deva Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana 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 Om Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Satya Narayana Narayana Om Jai Sat Guru Deva Om Shanti 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 Samasta Lokha Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Lokha Sukhino Bhavantu Samasta Lokha Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Mangalam Gurudevaya, Mangalam Jnanadayine, Mangalam Parthivasaya, Mangalam Sri Sathya Saine, Mangalam Sri Sathya Saine, Mangalam Sri Sathya Saine. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Samasta lokha sukhinam bhavatu, sarvamangalam astu, sarvakarya jaya prapti siddhirastu. Shubhamastu, Shubhamastu, Shubhamastu. Sai Ram, Sai Ram, Sai Ram.